or Wednesday night conversation. It's more than just the gossip, it's the issues that matter most to you. A closer look at current events, just the tip, special guests, and more. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe, Arizona's longest running drag live stream. Hosted by Felicia Fefe Minor and Freddy Prinze Charming. Streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Promotional consideration for Let's Have a Fefe provided by Wigs of a Kind, The Burly Barber, Bone and Basil, as well as our patrons at Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe to become a Fefe patron. Virtual tips accepted at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe.
Hello! Look, I'm back and I'm alive.
Oh my God!
I know. Where are our names?
Not much has changed, though.
Oh, well, that's good.
You've come back from the dead. Welcome.
Man, I don't. Oh. Yeah, we have a lot to catch up on.
Only because I can't see you, and I don't like to look at myself.
I figured out how to swap the video, so now it's mirrored as opposed to being opposite on my end. So,
I know. That's wonderful. Well, welcome back.
Thank you. Everything still seems to be doing okay. I haven't birthed anything down, so I guess that's a plus.
Oh. Yeah.
Everything is still standing. The internet hasn't been broken. We're doing good.
Uh-huh.
Oh my Lord.
We'll talk about it. I'm sure you have plenty to tell us. Well, this is episode 12, I believe. If not, I always count wrong.
No, I think it's 13. On the sheet it says 13.
Oh, did I do that?
But I feel like I didn't do it. It was already changed when I got there.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It is 13. This is episode 13. And I never promised I could count. Anyway, episode 13 of Let's Have a Fefe. I'm Felicia Fefe Minor, and oh my goodness. He looks like death, but he is death walked over.
The finally stepped down former Mr. Use of AMI Classic 2019, 2020, and 2021. Freddy Prinze Charming. I was finally able to hand that shit off.
Wow. How do you feel?
Your child is being very loud this evening.
Yeah, that's the reason why I was like running in here. And my wig is not down. She
has opinions, apparently. She has opinions.
Yeah, she has opinions about everything. When people keep warning me about the horrible threes, yes, they are coming.
She's a three-nager. That'll be a thing.
Yeah, it's coming. In June, it'll be 3. Yeah, and so here's the complicated life as a parent. Right?
Tell me about it.
You all don't know this, but I was running in here while the intro played.
I'm like, I guess I'm going to go ahead and start the stream.
Well, the last
I know how to do that now.
Maybe it's because you're back. She's like this.
Maybe. Sorry, kid. My bad. Oh, God. D's like, I love the terrible threes. We'll take her.
Anyhow, I'm glad that you had your step down. We'll talk about it in a minute. We want to thank our 18 patrons of Patreon. And threes are my fave. We can one. You can? Okay. More than ever. Hi, Brooklyn. Saw Brooklyn this weekend. We want to thank our 18 Allison, Brandon, Cassandra, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Joan, Jody, Leanne, Nicole, Patricia Mason, Sassy, C. Diaz, and Shannon, Shelley, and Sky. A special thanks to our friends and supporters, Patricia Mason, Sky, Drake Jensen. Oh, that's all of them. Sorry, I thought there was more of y'all taking the deeper plunge. But we want to thank those that do take the deeper plunge because, we like it just a little bit deeper. A special thanks to Joan of Bobbish, Wood Art and Jewelry. Yes. Guido Martin, Jeremy Bright of Ripple, and Jeremy Bright of Ripple Phoenix. You can donate by going to... Oh my God. I was not even ready. Anyway, donating at paypal.me/let's have a Fefe. You can also, some people have joined. So text LHAF to 602-730-7379. And I did not text people. Maybe I should do that right now. About the shows I did this weekend.
Oh, well, that's good.
And then something new. If you're on Facebook, you there is, especially if you watch on mobile, in the comments area, there is a little star like right by where you type the comments, and when you press that, you have the option of buying so many stars, and we get a portion of those proceeds. So just another way for our broke asses to try to earn money.
I need money for things like copays coming up in the next year, so
I mean, since you were down for the count, Jesus, I need to fix my headphones. You talk.
First of all, I would like to apologize real quick because I am going to be clearing my throat a little bit. I'm still kind of dealing with like the congestion and shit like that after being sick, so I apologize in advance. And so just bear with me.
You gotta apologize to us. Just don't have a cough because I can't save you from here.
No. If I start having all right. So let's back it up here a little bit, shall we? Since I have some catching up to do.
You have a lot of catching up to do. I might get a book here in a minute.
For the folks of you, those of you that haven't been, I don't know, I've been living under a rock or something and have no idea what the hell has been happening.
Where have you been?
Okay, so my step down happened on. Are we still in April? This is April, right? April 10th. I don't know. April 10th was my official step down.
Was in March.
I feel like that's the last time I saw myself. So April 10th was my actual step down. It was in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I am fully convinced that Arkansas tried to kill me because the drive there was uneventful. Whatever, it's long, it's boring. I drove from here to Amarillo. I stayed overnight in Amarillo, got up bright and early the next morning and finished the drive into Little Rock. No big deal, right? So I check into the hotel. I get situated. I get comfy. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to, relax the rest of the evening. I'm going to sleep. I'm whatever. So it was probably around 5:00 in the morning when I start feeling this familiar burning in my feet. And for those of you playing along at home, that was my first indication of the anaphylaxis that happened in Tucson while we were at the steampunk convention. So 5:00 in the morning, my feet start burning. I'm like, oh, fuck, are you kidding me right now? So I get my ass up out of bed. I turn the lights on, and sure enough, I'm covered in hives again, and my throat's starting to close up, and I'm like, oh, well, this is great. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, well, let me see. Where's the nearest ER? Hey, Google, what's happening? Where's that? So, and luckily, there was an emergency room that was about a half a mile away from the hotel. No big deal. So I dragged my like hive covered ass, and it's chilly right now. Also, it was like 40 degrees. So I had to make sure that I was wearing my sweats. I had a little jacket on because everything's always cold. So I dragged my happy little ass covered in hives and starting with my throat closing up and followed it over to the thing. Why did it tell me that this live broadcast has expired? That's weird. So drove to the ER,
Yourself.
and I drove myself to the ER, yes, because nobody was there yet. I was
Okay.
there early on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I drove myself to the ER, and I went in, and I'm like, hey, so my throat is closing up and I've got some anaphylaxis happening, and yeah, fun times. So they got me back real quick, which was nice.
Because they were like,
And
he's gonna die in the ER and we can't afford it.
right. So got me back real quick and stuck an IV in me, whole 9 yards, the whole thing. I put some Benadryl, got some steroids, got some epi, got all the things. And
Oh
the
my
doctor says,
God.
you know what? We're going to go ahead and test you for strep, because strep can actually cause anaphylaxis. The more you know.
Wow.
So, yeah. So they tested me for strep, and guess what? I was positive. So I had strep. That was fun. So luckily,
Even though you were
though,
by yourself the whole time.
yep, by myself. Nobody in my room but me. And in fact, I hadn't really seen anybody because I got there early on purpose. Because the idea was for me to get there on Wednesday, sleep, and then get up on Thursday, unpack, get everything steamed and situated for everything that started on Friday. Made sense, right?
Huh. Mm-hmm.
So I get out of there probably, I think I got out of the ER about maybe 10 a.m. thereabout, something like that. Drove myself back to the hotel, which was fun because I was all hopped up on things like Benadryl. And if anybody knows me, I'm sensitive to everything. So I was
Mm-hmm.
probably about 75% asleep when I drove myself back the half mile to the hotel. It's fine. No
Oh,
problem.
I'm
So
sure your partner was thrilled to hear about this.
I didn't tell her until later. So drove myself back to the hotel and slept for, I think, probably about 4 hours or so. Got up, and I'm like, okay, well, now I need to go figure out my prescriptions, because of course they sent me with antibiotics and steroids and all these
And
things.
meanwhile, you're doing this all by yourself.
I am doing this all by myself, and I feel like shit because I'm still like, the medication is still like doing like I had all the medication, so I'm like, this is not good. So I got up after about 4 hours and went to CVS and picked up my prescriptions. I went to Walmart because I needed to get like some food and some water and things. And I realized after I got back to the hotel room after Walmart that I didn't really get anything except about 16 different versions of cake. So note to self, don't let me go shopping after I've been on various medications and things in the hospital, because it doesn't work very
Huh.
well. Yeah.
Hmm.
Literally, when I was more functional later, I'm like, why do I have, okay. So I had to go back to Walmart at another date at another time. I think I went back the next day to get like things like cup of noodles and things that were actually going to like feed me instead of just giving me diabetes. So I was, the nice thing was though, was that because basically nobody was there yet, like really people weren't going to be coming in until Friday. So I still had all of Thursday and whatever. And it was good because once you've been on antibiotics for 24 hours, strep is no longer contagious. So I was
Mm-hmm.
able to hole up in my room for 24 hours on the antibiotics. By the time I left, like on Friday and stuff, I was no longer contagious. I was still wearing my mask, like whenever I knew I was going to come in contact with people, but I was like, it was, yeah.
Mm.
So Friday night was the review show at Trinity Nightclub. And I remember I walked in and I went, oh, God damn it. Because Arkansas, I guess, is the last place on the planet where you are allowed to smoke in fucking bars.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So here I am, and I'm
Isn't
not a
Oklahoma
smoker.
like that? I thought
I
Oklahoma
don't
was
remember if
that.
it still is,
Oh.
but I don't smoke anything. I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't vape. I don't do anything. So my lungs are not used to having to filter all this shit out. And it
Mm-hmm.
was literally 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, of being in a bar that was full of smoke, which I don't understand. Y'all, this is a fucking pageant. You paid how much money for this shit? and you're just gonna stand around and smoke in your evening wear in your costumes. I'm like, oh no. No. So those of you that watched any of my lives, like while I was driving back, like, like I was having issues. Like I was coughing, like it was rough. Like it felt like it was not okay. So I got back here about
I
8
didn't
p.m.
see as
ish.
many of the lives as I wanted to.
It was hard. It was so I got back around 8:39ish on that Wednesday and got in. I wasn't feeling great, and my partner wasn't feeling great either. But we've kind of figured it was like travel crud, Thursday, my partner's like, no, this is I don't feel well at all. So she took the day off and went and got a COVID test. Took a home test. The home test was negative. And by this point, I'm not feeling great either. Thursday, I was like, I'm still thinking it's just travel crud. I've just been driving for like ever.
Mhm.
So like, yeah. So
And that's
Friday,
what I was, and then I was like, okay, well, I hope you feel better. And I'm thinking, okay, I'll see you on Friday.
nope. Because Friday, I wake up, I'm still not feeling great. I went out to let dogs out. I come back in and my partner says, so I got my COVID test back and it's positive. I went, oh. I immediately took a home test, which showed up positive, like a bright, like, wah, 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 like it was almost instantaneous. It was a very, very positive home test. I was like, well, shit.
But you caught it separately though.
Yes. I mean, we both got it from Arkansas, I can guarantee you, but we didn't get it from each other, if that makes sense. Like it was there because hold
Was
on.
she there?
Is she here? But yeah, she came to Arkansas.
Oh, okay. That
Yeah,
was the part you
she
left
was
out,
in
'cause
Arkansas.
you were by yourself for a little bit, and then you didn't
I
say
was. She
nothing
came
about her.
in on she came in Saturday.
Okay.
So she came in on Saturday, so she was able to watch the MI competition, my step down, and then she flew back home on Sunday.
Okay.
So we both got it from the same place. Because So I'm like, well, shit. That's fine. So I basically had to cancel my
She
entire
made it
fucking
clear
weekend.
she did not drive there.
No, she did not. So yeah, my entire weekend was fucked, basically.
Uh-huh.
And so Friday, I wasn't feeling great. Like I was feeling a little bit worse than I was, but it wasn't awful. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's just maybe I'll just have like the congestion because everybody knows I'm vaccinated, I'm boosted. We both are, So we're like, maybe it'll be relatively mild. Hers wasn't so mild. She all of a sudden started spiking a fever. Like it was not good.
Oh,
By
shit.
Saturday, I was a mess. By Saturday, I couldn't focus. I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was coughing. My chest felt like there was an elephant sitting on it. Like it was bad. It was really, really bad. I ended up sleeping about 20 hours a day for the next week.
And that's no joke.
No, it was people were
there
like
would be
texting
like
me.
times that I was like, hey, and then I didn't get an answer. And then it would be like in the middle of the day, and it'd be like, I'm going back to sleep. And I'm like, okay.
I literally could not focus for long enough to like send text messages. Like it was legitimately bad. And I 100% believe that had I not been fully vaccinated and boosted, I would have been in the hospital. 100%. Because being fully vaccinated and boosted, it was really, really bad. So here's the thing though. I know that at least 12 people who were at nationals have COVID. At least 12 tested positive. That's a lot. 12 people got sick. At least 12 people got sick from nationals. And mind you, our nationals isn't like Miss Week. We don't have we have a crowd, but it's mostly contestants and dressers and things. Like we have a smaller crowd. 12 people out of all the people that were there is probably close to 10%. That's a lot. And it kind of pissed me off because all of these people got sick, and yet nobody from US of A has acknowledged anything. No one has said that,
I
hey, you know what? Maybe we made a mistake. We apologize for not putting any safety precautions. We apologize for not trying to make the venue non-smoking. Like, nothing. Nobody has acknowledged a goddamn thing, and it's really not okay with me. Like, it really does not sit well with me. The fact that this basically turned into a super spreader event and nobody seems to care. Like, I just, I get really, it's not a good look. Like, it's not a good look. So I was crazy sick for over a week. Like, it was bad, y'all. Like, legitimately. I also lost my sense of taste on Sunday, which, for anybody that
this
knows
Sunday?
me, no, the Sunday after I got back.
Oh, okay.
So not this past Sunday, but the Sunday after I got back. And for anybody that has like talked to me, they know that was my biggest fear when it came to COVID, because I know people that lost their sense of taste and they're still struggling with it, like months, weeks later. So
because you're a foodie.
for a week, I literally could not taste anything. Nothing. I tasted nothing. I was like, and I noticed it because my partner had ordered us like milkshakes, just kind of like, 'cause we lived on
All
Uber
that
Eats and
cake and
things,
no
like,
taste. That was after the
so
cake.
right. So I remember I took a sip of this milkshake and I'm like, that's weird. Took another sip, tried something else. Nothing. It tasted like literally nothing. Nothing. It was fucking awful. And my taste is back now, mostly. Things still taste a little off, but So this Monday, my boss, of course, because I'm like, hey, I have COVID. Sorry, not going to be there for a week. So there was another week gone on my PTO. And so Monday, this last Monday that just passed, was going to be my first day back at work. So I set my alarm, no problem. I got up, I logged into work, and started having a fucking coughing fit. Like, it was bad, like coughing. He like it was. I literally, D was getting ready in the bathroom because she was going to work, and I literally had to run past her with my hand over my mouth before I projectile vomited all over the place. Like, it was bad. So I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be a fun day. I'm like, what the fuck? Hopefully this passes. No big deal. So I'm sitting in bed. I have my laptop. And all of a sudden, I get that familiar burning feeling in my fucking feet. Again.
What?
And
At home this time.
at home. So now we've got anaphylaxis happening 3 separate times in 3 completely different venues with no correlation. So I'm like, well, this is fantastic. And sure enough, I get up again and I'm covered in hives. My throat is starting to close up. So my partner's like, well, she's going to get the ex-husband to take the kids to school because the kids have been with us. Oh, also, her youngest ended up testing positive for COVID.
Yikes.
Because
it's
of
no
us.
fun when the
Yeah.
kids get it.
Yeah, that was fun. So luckily her symptoms and stuff were really mild. So that was really good. So off to the ER we go. Luckily there's another ER that's really close over here. It's right. It's John C. Lincoln, which is part of Honor Health, which is where my partner works. So that was really handy. It was right across the street from her office. So that was really nice. So she drove me to the ER. We get in and so this is fun. So they get me in, they're going through triage and all that fun shit. And of course they have to go through medical history. So they're going through medical history and, the nurse is like, any surgeries. So I'm like, oh, Jesus. So I'm running through all the surgeries and as soon as I said hysterectomy, she looks at me and she gives me this look like, really? And I'm like, yes, just fucking put it down. Jesus Christ. Like, really?
Oh, look at all these comments.
So
Suzette got COVID. I did not test positive for COVID because Suzette and Juan were at Cat Bingo. I did
right.
not. So I still have
So
not.
they ran some tests at the ER, and ran some tests at the ER, pumped me full of the same old shit, so I'm back on steroids again. So based on what the doctor said and doing some like actual reading as opposed to like, you know, putting my symptoms into WebMD, but doing some actual reading and with the fact that there's been 3 separate occasions with nothing that was common between any of them. It looks like I may have what is called a histamine intolerance. Which I have an appointment with an allergist later next month because it's
It's
I also have
allergy season.
EpiPens, right? So but basically anything that has any sort of histamines at all could potentially trigger some sort of reaction. Not always,
Oh,
just
like
sometime.
allergy
Maybe.
meds?
No. Allergy meds are antihistamines.
Oh.
So it could be a food, it could be whatever the fuck.
Uh-oh. I hope it's not a
But
food.
there's no guarantee that it would happen. And
Is
if
there
I
something
do
that
have a
you've
histamine,
eaten the
not,
same
no, there was
well,
no common anything with the but the thing is it could also be that could also have delayed reaction. So it's really bizarre. So reading up on this,
also,
like
like,
on
you could have
this issue, it's
uh-huh.
really weird. Like reading up on this issue, it's very strange. And I'm hoping that's not what it is, because if it is, I'm gonna kill somebody, because it's gonna be really fucking annoying. Because what it means
What?
is anytime I eat any food that contains histamines, strawberries,
Oh my god.
avocado, seafood,
Oh my
anything
god.
that contains histamines, I will have to take some sort of some sort of medication to hopefully fend off the potential. So fuck that. I don't care. I'm still gonna eat whatever the fuck I want to eat. Don't fucking tell me that I can't eat this shit, because that's not gonna happen. Not gonna fucking
Ooh, you
happen.
love strawberries.
I'm gonna be so fucking pissed.
Ooh, and you love
So,
avocado.
yup, I know.
Ooh.
So we gonna have a discussion if that's the case. But hopefully the allergist will be able to at least give me some idea of what the fuck is going on, because that would be really helpful. If it's just because there's literally no
Basically, your
commonality
body
between,
decided to react to
yeah,
things? Yes, that's
basically.
basically what it is.
Basically, because there's no, like, there's three different areas, no commonality, nothing. So like it doesn't make any sense. So I'm hoping that I'll get some answers. But what sucks is because I had fucking COVID, I had to miss out on Austin. I was supposed to be in fucking Austin right after I got back.
Mhm.
I couldn't do cat bingo. I couldn't do sex trivia. I couldn't do anything, and I'm still mad about it. I'm still fucking mad about it.
Well, I
But
hope next
there you
time.
go. There's me caught up on all the shit, cuz
Laura says welcome back.
and I'm still struggling. Like the fatigue is real, and it sucks because we were supposed to spend the weekend. I got back between my step down and me going to Austin. We were supposed to empty out the shed in the back because we have contractors coming at the
Mhm.
end of we were supposed to have contractors coming at the end of the month. That's been pushed back now. To
Start working on
redo
it.
that space. But like now, like it used to be bad a few days ago, but like I couldn't even walk to the bathroom without getting like winded and out of breath. But even now, like leaving the house exhausts me. Walking around trying to cook things, like the fatigue is real. Like it, and
Well, that
it's
was, like, one of the major
ugh.
things that they had talked about, right?
Yeah,
When this first came out, is that
yeah.
fatigue, and they, said that self-care was a big thing for people, and so, um, I just say take care of yourself. Don't be rushing to get back to us if you're not healthy. Oh,
I don't have anything booked until I don't even know, so I'm not worried about it.
mate.
Like I don't think I have anything
Oh,
until the
bingo?
next, yeah, either bingo or trivia. So it just it sucks because
Well,
it took me
first
two and
and
a half years. Like,
foremost, I
it
was
took me two and a
worried
half
about
years.
you because even the time before COVID, you got sick when you traveled. And so not telling you that, but I didn't say like be safe, don't bring anything back, but
Thanks.
uh
I mean, I always kind of anticipate kind of having the travel crud because it's just it is what it is. Like,
I don't know.
but
My version of travel cred is different than yours. Yours is
mm,
far more extreme than mine.
I'm old. But we like I don't know.
Oh,
It pissed me off because even when we were at the ER just on this last Monday,
boo.
um, yeah, that's bullshit. Um fucking our vice president has tested positive. So like um but it's like when we went into the ER, they asked if, we all the questions or whatever, and we
Oh
had to
my
tell them that we
god.
both had tested positive for COVID in the last 10 days. And they're like, "Was this your first time getting it?" And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Jesus, really? How to manage did you not get it this whole time?" 2.5 years. 2.5 years, neither of us had it, and it took fucking Arkansas. Fuck you, Arkansas. I'm pissed. Like, and and even the folks that like in the like the medical field and stuff that I talked to and stuff, they're like, no, it was like, okay, big contributing factor was the fact that especially for the non-smokers, like your lungs are working twice as hard trying to filter shit out in a
Hmm.
bar full of fucking smoke. Like
I
I
will
just
tell you, I took a trip once, and it was my in-laws. Rest in peace. But they smoked with the windows up.
oh
Uh,
no.
yeah, asthmatic here sounds fun. But I can tell you that after that week, it was a week of riding around with them and being in the same place with them. I came back and I was like on
It's
death's
awful.
door because
It's
my lungs
awful.
were like the doctor basically said, you're going through withdrawal.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's going to take you a little longer because of your asthma. And I was like, oh, well, he's like, I'm surprised you're not like worse. And I was like, well, thanks.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I do understand that.
they still smoke in bars there, and, of course, when I get home, like, I'm trying to, like, unpack and get things because in my head, I'm like, "Oh, I'm
Ugh.
just gonna get over this, like, stuffiness, and I'm gonna go to Austin," right? So I'm trying to get everything unpacked so I can repack. Everything in my fucking suitcases, everything smelled like smoke, it's so fucking gross, like, bleh. I'm
I can tell you,
sorry,
yeah,
smoking is so disgusting. So fucking gross.
I
I
can tell you as having a grandmother who smoked, and she smoked in the house. And so she always sent us stuff. And I tell people
you
this story all the
you
time.
open the
She's
bag of the box, and it's
Yeah. She sent my sister this white dress once,
oh
and
god.
I was like, "Oh." And so I thought it was yellow. I was young at the time,
Nope.
but I thought it was yellow. And my mom goes, "We have to wash it," and I'm like, "What?" And she goes, "We have to wash it so that you can see what it actually looks like." And when she washed it, I was so dumbfounded that it was a white dress. I was like, "Oh my
It's so
god!"
gross. It's so disgusting. I was so fucking mad. So fucking mad.
And people wash
Um,
that stuff off their walls for decades. So,
it even then sometimes it doesn't because it soaks into the paint and then into the like the
mhm.
dry like it's gross. It's disgusting. So I do have a tip, but it's a longer tip, so I'll save it for next week. We can just
Oh, these people have been waiting for 3 weeks for this tip.
I bet it'll end up being a
I've
longer
been skipping this tip.
all right, fine. I'll do the tip. I'll do the tip. All
Do I need to
right.
pull up that picture?
Probably. I think there was a couple of links, but um,
I'll do that
yeah,
while you
there's a
talk.
okay. So there's a couple of links. All right. So the tip that I put in here that I was gonna do before I started dying, um, I
I'm glad you
um,
didn't die.
yeah. So we're going to talk about a fab anatomy because for some reason this seems to still be a fucking mystery to people. including people that have AFAB anatomy.
Really?
Oh my god. Okay, so the reason I decided to do this is because we were watching, or I was watching. I guess we were both watching. It's called The Principles of Passion on Netflix.
Mhm.
And they basically talk to AFAB individuals about sex and pleasure and all these things. And some of the things these folks were saying, I was like, oh my god,
Mhm.
you don't even know your own body. You know nothing about your own body. So
Mm.
I'm like, all right, this obviously needs to be a discussion because so regardless of whether you are AFAB and cis, and AFAB stands for assigned female at birth, which if you don't know that by now after watching this, you're probably not paying attention. So whether you're AFAB and cis or whether you're AFAB and trans, the anatomy is the same. It doesn't change unless you had surgeries or whatever. But what you call things, could vary from person to person. But unless you've had like a phalloplasty, your downstairs anatomy is going to be the same, regardless of whether you are cis or trans and assigned female at birth. So, first up, we are going to talk about the anatomy of the clitoris, because this is something that seemed to have stumped people even at sex trivia.
Mm.
So, here is the anatomy of the clitoris. It's actually bigger than you think. The little external bit, which I don't know, people call it different things. It's the button, the bean, the man in the boat, the
Oh god, I
nub.
wish you wouldn't call it that.
You're welcome. Pearl, jewel, whatever the fuck you want to call the thing. That is like it can vary in size. Like it's even in cis women. It's, the part that you see tends to start relatively small-ish, and that's the little like antenna looking thing on the diagram. If you look, the little antenna looking thing is like
For those
the
that
bit
can't
that,
find it.
right. It's the external part. And even in cis women, it gains length and girth and gets aroused when you are aroused. When you're on testosterone,
What?
it will gain length and girth.
Suzette, for real?
Oh my god. Yeah, no, people have no fucking clue. Urine does not come out of the
It's like
vagina,
5th grade
folks.
you learn this stuff. What?
You people don't pay attention.
Oh
So
my
you'll see on the
god.
diagram in regards to urine, there's a urethral opening, which is the urethra, which then feeds into the bladder, which is where the pee comes from. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So regardless of whether you're trans or cis, the clitoris basically works pretty much like a penis. When aroused, it swells, it gets bigger, it gets erect, it gets more sensitive. And the part that you see externally, a lot of people think that that is the only part to the clitoris. That's it. That's all you get. Just that bit. Not even close. It actually goes all the way down along the sides, and it's shaped like a wishbone with clitoral bulbs. Like that whole bit is the clitoris. All of that is the clitoris.
I
And
wish
if
we
you
had
looked at it,
pointers.
I know, right? So if you
Does it
kind of
show
a
my
familiar
mouse?
shape, kinda? Yeah, very small, yes. Very
It's not
small.
about the size.
So, but if you notice, it's kind of a familiar shape, right? I mean, you know that in the womb, everybody basically starts off as female and then things divide and split and
Mhm.
whatever. So the clitoral bulbs would basically turn into the testes and the, everything else, but the whole thing is sensitive to stimulation, not just the fucking little man in the boat.
What
The
did you
pleasure
just
point,
say?
I call it the man in the boat. You're welcome. The
Oh
the
my
the pleasure
god.
points go pretty much all the way down along the sides of the vulva. So get creative if you're down there doing things. Like it's not just about the fucking like it do more.
To thine
Do
own be
more
true.
than just paying
Oh
attention
my
to the little
god.
external nub part that you see. Christ. So
I
the
bet
G
you
spot,
have. Oh
mm,
my god.
so the G spot, which is also called the urethral sponge, is so scientifically the G spot doesn't actually exist. It's it What it is when you stimulate the G spot, you're actually stimulating the clitoris from the inside. If you look at where the urethral sponge is on the diagram, right? So think about it. If you're pushing up on that, which is what you're stimulating, if you're stimulating the G spot, you are stimulating the urethral sponge, which then pushes up and at the same time stimulates the clitoris from the inside. Yep. Surprise. Like it, so the idea of a G spot really isn't the G spot doesn't exist, but the stimulation of that
I like
area
this. I like this.
Right.
What works for one doesn't mean it will work for another, which is why I advocate knowing your own body so you can help your
Mhm.
partners pleasure you.
That is huge. If you know what gets you off, then you'll be able to tell somebody else what gets you off. Like, no, not right there. Move a little bit to the right, slow down, speed up, move down, move this, do that. Like, you know. So,
I thought it was over to
all
the
right.
left.
Yeah, right. All right. So, there's the clitoris. Hope you guys got that, took
You
that
done with this
in.
one?
Yep. Next up, we have, and this is a big one, the vulva versus vagina. No, they are not the same thing.
Aren't they the same? Don't they wrestle?
Oh my God. So let's get this up here. All right, look at this Vulva 101. You are so welcome, y'all. So the vulva is actually the whole shebang. It's the whole thing. It is the pubic area. It is the clitoris. It is the labia. It is the whole damn thing. It is the vaginal opening. Everything. Your whole junk down there, that is your vulva. That is your vulva. The pubic mons, the clitoris, the urethra, the labia, all the external stuff. That is the vulva. The vagina is internal, and it is only the tube that connects the vulva to the cervix. It's what expands when you get turned on so that you're able to put things like toys, fingers, and penises, etc., into the vagina. So the
Not
vagina,
the urethra.
no, please. I mean, if you want to put things in your urethra, by all means, just know what you're doing, please. Just know what you're doing. Oh my God, Juan. Look, Juan, you never know. One day you might end up like falling desperately in love with a trans man, and you're gonna need to know your way around things. So I'm just saying, this is still
You never know.
good anatomy. I'm good anatomy to know here. So this is big because the vulva is you have to vulva all external things. All external things is the vulva. The vagina is literally oh, that's easy. Give me 5 minutes and a glove. I got you. Just kidding.
Oh my God.
So, and the vagina, everybody always thinks the vagina is like the whole shebang with the cervix and all that. It's not. The cervix is completely separate. The vagina is literally just the place that you put things in.
Oh, it's a storage unit.
Are. Right.
It's a storage unit.
But please not long-term storage. We do not use our vaginas for long-term storage.
Oh, I can't put stuff there?
I mean, it's not a fucking purse. So just that's a big thing. That's you know, so that the vagina is literally just so just yeah. So that being said, here are a few things to remember.
It's so complicated.
I know. You can take the diagram away if you like now. So here's the thing. No one's junk is identical. No one. Just like, you know, all penises look different, so do AFAB vulvas. And just because one looks different from the other doesn't mean that one is worse or one is bad or one whatever. They're you know, labia come in different lengths and widths. Clitorises come in varying lengths and everything, and different skin tones. You know, different people with different skin tones are going to look different downstairs. Another thing to
Thanks,
remember
Laura.
is
We know you just
thank
a
you,
little bit better now.
Laura. Right. Another thing to remember is that vulvas and vaginas don't all respond the same way to stimulation. And just like
Oh, because we're
Suzette,
all different.
because we're all different. And like some people may really enjoy clitoral stimulation, some people may really prefer internal insertable whatever. There are no bad vulvas. All vulvas are good vulvas. All vulvas matter.
But there are
And
people with that. Never mind.
I mean, and like Suzette said earlier, you know, things like masturbation can help you help your partners. If
Let me
you
help you.
know how your
Mhm.
body works, then you have the tools to be able to help your partner. Because if your partner's doing stuff and you're not telling them that what they're doing isn't working, that's on you. That is 100% on you. If you can't just be like, okay, look, let's pause for a second here and let's talk about what's not happening. Like if you can't communicate with your partner about that, that is 100% on you. That's yeah. And because I mean, communication is something that we stress here all the fucking time. We talk
Oh
about
my
communication
God.
all the time. And
Gabe.
Jesus. So the other thing too is I think that, and this happens a lot, I think with guys who are dealing with cis women, and they seem to think that, you know, oh well, I have to make sure that I get her off and whatever, and so we
Well,
get in
that's
our heads about
because
these
some
things,
people are raised on this big fictitious porn that
right?
they think
And
is the real thing.
here's the thing: is that you don't have to achieve orgasm to have a satisfying sex life. Um, you don't have to like, and it's okay, like if you're, you know, if stuff's happening, if things are, you know, and you're like, hey, you know, what you're doing feels good, but I don't think I'm gonna get off tonight. Like you can keep doing what you're doing, but I don't think I'm gonna get
But
off. Like that is not a challenge for them to be like, oh, I'm gonna get that. No, just no. Like it's okay if,
can we normalize that then?
and that's the thing, and that's what I think that needs to be like
Because
that
societal norms teach us that
and that's, and
every
right,
time
that
is a
the be
great
all end
time.
all, right, and the be all end
Hmm.
all, of course, of sex has to finish in some sort of orgasm, which is not the
Just
case.
imagine, some people
And
just wouldn't have kids if they just stopped.
it's like you have to know your own body though, because it's like there are times, you know, if you're like, oh, this feels good, like let's just do whatever, and we don't have to worry about whether somebody finishes or not. It just feels good. Sometimes though, like especially if it's like if they keep trying, it's like, okay, this is not. Look, just stop, just stop, stop.
Hmm. I
Um,
I think I often feel the pressure of that because it's like, well, I had fun, but I don't really
right,
need to.
right,
And it like in your head, you're like, is this gonna make the other person think that I was dissatisfied?
right.
Because sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes it's just, you know, um, too many cocktails. I say, no, it's not even that. Sometimes soberly, I think that I
Yeah.
don't need to achieve anything. I just need to, um,
It's not, so it's just not necessary. Sometimes it's
yeah,
like it just feels good and it's okay to just feel good. You don't have to have that, you know. And another thing to remember is if your partner happens to be trans or non-binary or anything that falls outside of, you know, the
this
cisgender
exactly,
kind of norms, you
Justine.
know, you always need to make sure that you ask what you should refer to their junk as, because there are so many words and not everyone, even cis women, like to use all of them to refer to their bits. We all
Including
know
one
the
that
word that
Freddy
I
doesn't like
fucking
to
hate.
say.
There, I will
I
not refer to
find
my bits as that. I won't refer to anybody else's bits as that either. I don't.
what episode was that? I'll send it to you if you want.
Oh
Um,
God.
I find, at least for
So,
me, it also depends on the time of the month.
mm-hmm.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yep.
Sensitivity
Yep.
will fluctuate with hormones and whatnot. That's very good.
Absolutely. If you
When I'm
are someone
stressed,
who
I am.
if you're on birth control, that can make a difference. If you are someone who still has their period, that can make a difference. If you are someone going through menopause, that can make a difference. If
Scientifically.
and anything like that, there's all sorts of things that can make a difference on whether someone
Say what
is
now? Wait, I never heard of this before. I actually go numb when I
mhm,
drink alcohol, so at a certain point, it's impossible for me to achieve orgasm. That doesn't mean I don't enjoy fooling around.
right.
Huh.
And alcohol can have an effect on that. Just like a lot of times if if a guy has had
Whiskey
too much
dick.
alcohol, he can't get it up. It's the same
Mhm.
sort of concept.
Mhm.
It's like because it inhibits all sorts of things. So yeah, there you go.
Head is
You're
not it.
welcome.
What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Head is not it. Okay, there's people
Oh, head
agreeing
is
with
not
me.
in it. Its head is
Oh.
not in it. So if your head's not in
Oh.
it, like
Mm.
there's a number of reasons why you wouldn't necessarily achieve orgasm,
Sometimes it's
but it still
more
feels good.
pleasure for me than
Right.
I don't know how to explain it. Anyway.
Oh, all right. Let's see. We do have some current events and fun things happening here. Um,
Elon Musk didn't know what to do with that, just sitting in his pocket. He had $44 billion. And so, when you have $44 billion and everybody's driving your cars and you just continue to make the money, you don't know what to do with it, you buy Twitter.
it's because he didn't want people to make fun of him, so he wants to be able to control it.
There is several articles that have been written, maybe op-eds more is like it, that he has been quoted as saying that he doesn't really like free speech,
Mhm.
and that he's very conservative. So it makes me think that he's a Trumper.
Probably. That wouldn't surprise me. I would love to see everybody get rid of their Twitter. Go get rid of your fucking Twitter accounts, because if you do that, it's going to go the same way as Tumblr. Like Tumblr sold for
Pretty
nothing.
close, yeah.
Like, and if if everybody gets off Twitter, it's gonna be worthless. So he'll spend $44 billion to save his ego for something that nobody uses. So honestly,
I
I'm
use
encouraging
it.
people fucking get rid of Twitter. Get rid of it. Don't fucking use it. Make him be
Um,
like, well, shit.
I watch free porn on Twitter.
Yeah, but they're cracking down on that too. I know a few people that their Twitter accounts have been um
Oh
um
no.
banned or whatever, blocked or whatever because of their adult content.
The internet
So
is dying.
that shit is happening.
I guess I'll
Fucking
just watch
censorship is a
puppies from
thing.
now on.
Yeah. So, so in politics, I'm sure you guys have all heard that Florida is trying to dissolve Disney's special status and trying to like basically kick them out of the thing. It's not going to happen. They can go ahead and try, but
Did you
they
read
would
that
end up.
article? Oh my
I've
god.
I've read some of the other articles. Like there's
They
no
have
way.
too much
Like
control
yeah.
over their this is the reason why I so it all makes sense now. You know how like you have these moments where you're like, well, I don't
Mm,
understand politically what's going on. And then you have these like, oh shit, that kind of moment. So you remember a couple weeks ago, almost a month now, the "Don't Say Gay" issue was happening with the backlash to Disney.
mhm.
Now it all makes sense because they take their money away from the Florida government. Then the Florida government says, "Hey, remember that tax break I gave you? And you have all this land and hotels and things, and you keep building on it. We'll take that back." And so what the government there is afraid of is that will come back to haunt them. And
Oh, it
then
will, because they'd have to absorb all the property taxes and all the like
and
everything. They'd
Disney
have
will
to pay
be
for
like,
everything.
"Sure, people come to my parks anyway. And here you go, causing a whole ripple. If you read these articles, it is amazing how intertwined Disney has sophisticatedly taken the government by the balls.
Disney has like enmeshed themselves in Florida, like even more so than California, I think. Like Disney,
and they don't get
has
tax breaks like this, or somebody told me tax privileges like this in California, because I think the governor
right.
was the government there was like, you cannot. What?
Yeah, they're like, no, this isn't. You can't just come over and take over the state. That's not going to happen. But in Florida, now they're fucked. So yeah,
they better
that'll
be careful what
interesting.
they say and how they
if
say
they
it.
try to do that shit, if they try to oust Disney, Disney will be like, all right, cool, we'll go somewhere else, whatever, I don't care. Like, it's not like they're hurting for money. Let's be real. They'll be
they're
like, all right,
well,
we'll pull out of Florida. And then if
we'll
they
just
pull out of
go.
Florida, there's no reason to go to Florida because it's Florida. So yeah.
What else is in Florida?
Nothing. Florida people are in Florida.
I like Tampa Bay.
It's all full of Florida people. Between Florida and Texas and Arizona, like
I like gay clubs in Florida.
I haven't been to a gay club in Florida.
Well, that market has kind of decreased in the last couple of years.
Oh, and we're back. Are we back to burning books? Is that what we're doing? A Tennessee lawmaker is suggesting burning banned books because we still haven't learned anything from decades ago.
Hashtag 1984.
1954, 1934, 1944, just keep going on back. Just keep going on back.
Is it Fahrenheit 451 that they did that? Anybody? Are you there? And they're so serious about this. They want to take books out of, we talked about this last night at the story hour. We have come to a point where maybe the conservative market has taken too much of a hold. We can't talk about LGBTQ. We can't talk about race. We can't talk about, what was the other one I read the other day? But we can't talk about certain things. And then so I just turned to somebody this week and said, so my dog Spot will be banned somehow because somebody will say, well, my dog doesn't have spots.
Right.
And most of the time
we can't read a book about a dog with spots because then everybody.
Oh, I forgot to add this on here. There was a principal or somebody that got in trouble in the last couple weeks because of the book that says the title of it is something about somebody gets a new butt. And it's really not about his butt. It's about something else. And so I just wonder how, I don't know, how do these things come into play, and how do you fight them even more? And when we have other things like anti-trans bills going on, and are these distractions from those anti-trans bills and tax breaks, and there's so much going on that people get away with multiple things because they're like, oh, ooh, look over here. And then we're all looking over here because you notice we're not talking about Brittany Gardner anymore. Is that her name? Gardner? Yes.
Gardner.
And so
we don't have any information on her, apparently. Like, from
where is she? Because that came across my brain. But we're still, Fauci wants to do an endemic, ending the pandemic. So, like, all these things are happening, which is so weird. And the Ukraine is still going to shit because who knows what the fuck is going on there.
Well,
and
Russia's so, like, now bombing. They've been bombing train stations, railroads.
Yes. And so all of this is going on, but we want to burn books. Make it make sense.
It's not going to. It never. It's never. It's a game of look at what's happening over here while this is happening over here. It's the magician's thing. It's like you watch this hand, so you can't see what's happening over here. Oh, Griner, whatever the hell her name is, I don't know. I don't do the sports ball. But Yeah,
You can't learn
there's
math in Florida?
they don't.
I'm not gonna ask.
No. It's a lot, and honestly, the best thing we can do is keep fucking educating people, keep reading books, keep doing story hours, keep you know encourage kids to read whatever the fuck they want. I have plenty of books that have been on the banned book list. Like, I will happily share these books with people because that's what I do. It's like it's so fucking stupid. It's
Yeah, I read a couple last
ridiculous.
night that were on the banned books list.
Mm.
Genderqueer is a graphic novel, and then The Black Flamingo, which I had never read before until this story hour, is on the banned books list, I think. And so we're not allowed to be queer in front of people. We're not allowed to be
People have
black in
started
front of
banning math
people.
books, claiming they promote critical race theory.
What the fuck?
Why does that not surprise me? Oh my
What
god.
QAnon conspiracy theory bullshit is this?
Fucking Florida. Fucking
Y'all,
Florida.
okay. I cannot. Let's move on.
What do we have coming up? I don't have any COVID news. I'm a statistic.
Oh my god. Okay. Let's see. Wow.
We've got quite a few things coming up.
So on this weekend is Rainbows Fest in Phoenix, and I will be performing on Sunday at 2:30 with Majik. I don't remember which stage. And then that's in the Heritage Square, because I know somebody was asking me, like, where is it? I was like, where Rainbow Fest always is. And people are like, oh, where's that? And I'm like, oh, I forgot we haven't done this in a while.
I am
so
not
some people
performing at
don't
Rainbows
remember.
Festival,
Some
mostly
people
because
just don't remember. That's
I don't
weird.
feel well, but also I wasn't asked, so that's fine.
I'm so sorry. Sorry about that. I wasn't in charge of asking. I was asked. Okay.
Let's see.
And then on the 14th, we have sex
trivia, which I'm gonna add a new category to that, which I'm excited about.
Oh, you're gonna add? Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a new category. It'll be a fun one.
Mm.
Cat bingo on May 20th.
I think we should add a category that's acronyms.
That would be interesting. We could do that
because there are so many.
There are.
Even
I think we should
within like just. And plus, those people are so confused anyway.
I know, it's fantastic.
I think it would just be great to add that.
I think we should
write that down. Write that down. Somebody remind us later, because we're both getting older and we don't remember.
May 27th, Felicia and I are both going to be performing at Fan Fusion on that Friday night. That should be fun. I'm excited. It's going to be a crazy show. It's going to be jam packed and awesome.
Yes. So, I need to talk to Guido.
And I will be wearing a mask for anytime I'm walking around, I think, because I can't.
Oh, I thought you meant the whole thing.
No.
Oh, you're going to Washington.
I am going to Washington. So June 17th, we have Cat Bingo. June 18th, we have Sex Trivia. And then I was actually asked to go perform in Washington for Lewis County Pride. So I'm really excited about that.
I love how you get asked to do other prides.
I know, but not our own.
I mean,
it's fine.
I don't really get asked to do the main pride.
Suzette, the show starts. No, the burlesque show is after us. We start at 7. We start at 7. We go, I think, to 8:30, and then the burlesque show is after.
For what now?
For Fan Fusion.
Oh. We can double check on times. I'm sure a flyer.
I checked it today. Because I had to put it in my calendar.
And don't announce the guest, because I haven't done what I was supposed to do.
Okay. But I think that is all we have going on. At least that's all I have going on, which I'm okay with right now because I'm still tired.
On May 4th, I will be at Bookman's for May the 4th be with you. And I think this is the first one. No, yesterday was the first one I had done in person, but this is the first one that I think I will be doing in person at Bookman's in a year or so, year or
That'll be
two.
fun. I haven't done a drag story hour in a long time and I miss it.
Well, get better first and foremost, and then we can figure that out. Which Bookman's? The one in Mesa on Country Club.
I want to go do the May the 4th story hour, but I want to wear a Star Trek uniform and see how many people I can piss off.
That would be great because I'm reading a Star Wars branded book.
I know, that's why I want to wear the Star Trek uniform.
Oh, God, grace.
With like a stormtrooper mask.
And then we won't just be protested by angry cis white males. And
I know, I'll piss
angry
off all the
wives.
nerds. All the nerds will be mad at me. I would totally do it. It'd be hysterical.
Yes.
We do have some guests that we're coming up with, but we haven't solidified anything. We have 2 that I think have said that they're going to be on, but we just don't have like details yet. So we're working on it.
Stay tuned to Patreon because I said last week that I was going to post it on there, but things happened, so I did not.
I do have. Oh, I will have a. I do have a photo shoot that's scheduled for I believe June 5th, with Scotty Kirby. So I will be releasing those pictures on our Patreon first. So if you want to get the first look at them after they're done, which will be after June 5th, obviously.
Oh, you fancy.
Then make sure that you join our Patreon because there may be 1 or 2 that I only post on our Patreon. We'll see. I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know.
That's horrible. Just kidding. Pay for it. You get to see it first. So with that all being said, surprises and all, thank you for joining us for your Wednesday night conversation. Thank you to all of you who watched live, and even watched the 2 weeks that I felt like a silly
I
monster.
apologize for that. I promise.
You don't have to apologize. I actually did better. I did better than I usually do.
For you.
Because I was worried.
I tried to kind of watch because Dee had it on at one point. And I'm like, I couldn't focus. It was awful. Y'all, COVID is no fucking joke. And it's not done. And I am so fucking grateful that I was vaccinated and boosted, because with as sick as I was, I would have been in the hospital. I really would have. So these vaccinations, they do what they're supposed to do. So that's like, I'm so grateful that I did the right thing, because
so I don't know if you guys get this, but like so I signed up for like the CDC like V-Safe thing. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but every once in a while, like today or maybe yesterday, it reminded me that I could go and get a booster shot, and I was like, oh, I can get another one. So I don't know if maybe ask your healthcare provider if that's still available, because it sends me like reminders to say like, hey, maybe you should go get boosted, and then it like asks me for like the record of the date of when I did it.
Right.
So I think that's basically kind of like, if I get sick, then they have record of when I got, the shot last. It's definitely no joke. And surprisingly, Scott's had it, but I did not get it. I've been around people who have said they have been exposed, but I have not. Even you know how often
It's weird. We went 2.5 years. We went to Disneyland.
I've were around mad people.
like I've been doing all sorts of things.
I think that your shield was down. The smoking, I think kills the
I honestly
shield.
think that's what it was. Honestly, I think that if it had been somewhere where they didn't have that, I think I would have been fine. Honestly, I really
Because
do.
I think even if you are sometimes exposed to COVID, you may not get
Mhm.
the full blown thing because your body's like, hey, get this out of here. No, we don't want that.
Oh, I'm sure I've been exposed. I know I've been exposed numerous times with around people because I know people that have had it and like that have been in my bubble. So like I know damn well that I have been around people that have had it, and
Mhm.
for 2.5 years, fine, not a fucking problem. And then bullshit. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate it. I'm glad to be back. Sorry it took me so long. I did not intend that to be the case, I promise, but I'm getting back into the swing of things. So I will be back. I'll be back. Yeah. And out and
Hopefully.
about and stuff more now that especially once the fatigue and stuff is more done. So anywho, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody that checked in on me because even if I wasn't able to like respond, I tried and I couldn't 90% of
I
the
didn't
time.
take it personal.
Thank you.
Just me sitting here worried. It's okay. It's okay.
But thank you all again so much for watching. We appreciate you.
And
And we
hopefully you
see
get some
you.
color back next week.
Oh, fuck off. We will see you next week for your Wednesday night conversation. Good night.
Bang and night.
Promotional consideration for Let's Have a Fefe provided by Wigs of a Kind, The Burly Barber, Bone and Basil, as well as our patrons at Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Let's Have a Fefe to become a Fefe patron. Virtual tips accepted at paypal.me/Let's Have a Fefe. Subscribe to the Let's Have a Fefe podcast. You can listen on your favorite podcatcher. See you next week for your Wednesday night conversation. This has been Let's Have a Fefe. Good night.